sunlit courtyard, his cane tapping softly on the cobblestones. But behind his vacant eyes, Jeffrey sees the world as a tapestry of brilliant, flowing energy. In an ornate office, a professor points to a screen, showing Jeffrey's energy signature flaring like a miniature sun among pale stars. Deep below the school, in a chamber of shadow and chains, the ancient guardian Lucifer Valerius recoils as that same light appears on a magical map. Miles above, Jeffrey stops in a hallway, his hand pressed to his chest, feeling the echo of a stranger's agony. He closes his eyes and makes a silent promise to take a blackened, corrupted heart and make it whole again. The grand lights in the library flicker and die as Lucifer lets out a silent, psychic scream. A corrupted heart, pulsing with dark light. A student's hand, glowing with pure energy. A guardian's terrified eyes, widening in the shadows. When the only cure is seen as the ultimate threat, can a healer save a broken soul before it shatters their world? Listen to the audio series, The Book of Jeffrey, by Apotheosis Angel, only on Pocket FM. And hear voices. His are giving orders. Jeffrey works his shift at a vast, empty Walmart, pushing a line of carts under fluorescent lights. He clutches his head in a small, barren apartment, the walls seeming to close in around him. A disembodied voice whispers as Jeffrey stands frozen, staring at his own reflection in a dark window. In his empty room, he speaks a new name into the silence. And for the first time, a man named Eli Rohan sees his own face in a mirror. A cosmic map of timelines unfolds before Eli's eyes, revealing a queen's system, trapping souls in a repeating loop. Eli Rohan sits at a worn desk and types a message to a frequency wizard he's never met, named Eli Taidenki, his finger hovering over the send button. After 3 years,
this is just a preview of the two books I have. I didn't have them uploaded. It wouldn't let me download them for some reason.
A glowing metaphysical train waiting on an empty desert road.
So this is just a preview of the two books that I have.
Cafe. A sudden shiver. Eli Rohan stepping onto the train, leaving everything behind. When he arrives in Los Angeles, will Eli build his academy for the lost? Or will the system he's escaping simply be waiting with a new cage? Listen to the audio series The Dream Wives by Apotheosis Angel, only on Pocket FM.
Alright, 27. Oh, you guys want to hear some more? I can go back to the book. We are on the book still. Where are we at here? Library. You guys were on chapter 11. Yes, you guys were here.
Next chapter. Hash. Hash episode. The offer. Up close, Lucifer didn't feel like the stories. There was no smell of sulfur, no crackle of hellfire. Just the sharp, layered presence of someone who had been angry for a very long time and was suddenly painfully sober. Jeffrey stood as close to the invisible boundary as Vincent would let him. The ache in his chest throbbed in time with the hum of the containment globe. Say it, Lucifer said. Say the names. Jeffrey's mouth went dry. Jeffrey Ruan, he said. The hum deepened. Lucifer sucked in a breath like someone punched him. Yes, Lucifer whispered. It's you. Mara shifted somewhere to Jeffrey's left, charms chiming softly as she adjusted whatever invisible structures held the room together. Before anyone does anything irreversible, she said, we're going to lay out the ground rules. Lucifer gave a brittle laugh. Always the bureaucrat, he said. Go on. Mara's tone went cool cool and precise. Rule 1, she said. No reaching across the circle without permission. That goes for hands, minds, and whatever else you two like to throw around. Agreed, Vincent said. Lucifer's voice lost its sarcasm. Agreed, he said quietly. Rule 2, Mara continued. No trades, bargains, or deals sealed in metaphor. If you're making an exchange, you name it clearly. Do you know what I mean?
Where's that guy? Get up! He's not going anywhere.
I'm gonna get the game pictures up for you. Hold on a second.
No poetic shortcuts. She turned her attention toward Jeffrey. And rule 3, she said. You. She tapped his chest lightly. Do not offer anything until you know exactly what was taken. Jeffrey swallowed. Fair, he said. I wasn't planning to hand over random organs tonight. Lucifer made a small, strangled sound that might have been a laugh. You haven't changed, he said. I don't remember changing from, Jeffrey said. From who you remember, I mean. Lucifer fell silent. Vincent stepped in. Here's what he knows, Vincent said. Pain in the chest, magnet under the stairs, vague flashes of circles, light, and someone saying once there was a boy. That's it. You want a trade. You start with the truth. Lucifer exhaled. I told him some of it already, he said. The last time you were here, you were Ruan. You walked into my jurisdiction and offered me your heart. I refused and stole a piece anyway. I filed it away instead of healing it. You've been walking lopsided ever since. Jeffrey closed his eyes. That tracks, he said softly. Lopsided is familiar. Allow me to be very clear, Mara said. The fragment is moving. It's trying to go home. If we don't manage that carefully, it could rip through both of you on the way. So we manage it, Jeffrey said. How? Vincent's voice dropped into the tone he used when teaching something dangerous but necessary. We design a ritual, he said, Earth. A hard trade that's mutual, named, and consented to by everyone in the room. No sideways surgery, no skimming, no I'll fix it later. Jeffrey let out a humorless huff. Sounds healthy, he said. Terrifying, but healthy. On Lucifer shifted on the far side of the circle. I don't deserve that, he said. That's not the question, Vincent replied. The question is whether you're willing to do it. Jeffrey's head tilted. Do what exactly? He asked. Spell it out. Rule 2. Vincent nodded once. Lucifer opens his heart first, he said. Literally, symbolically, magically. Whatever you want to call it. He drops the defenses that let him steal in the first place. He acknowledges the damage. Only then do you decide if you still want your missing piece back, knowing what it's connected to. Jeffrey's fingers tightened on the helmet. And if I say no, he asked, if I decide I don't want anything that ever sat in his hands, then it stays where it is, Mara said gently. We seal the conduit, patch your ache as best we can, and find other ways to balance you. You walk out without taking back that fragment, still lopsided maybe, but by choice this time. Something in Jeffrey recoiled at that. Lucifer's voice came out raw. "And if you say yes?" he asked. "Then," Vincent said, "we move it, slowly, through a channel we build together. You feel it, he feels it, I anchor it. Mara keeps the walls from cracking. Nobody gets to look away." The vault went very, very quiet. Jeffrey's chest pulsed in time with the hum of the globe. He took a breath. "Okay," he said. "Show me." Lucifer froze. "Show you what?" he asked. "Your heart," Jeffrey said. "Rule 2, remember? No metaphors without naming. But this is going to be surgery. I need to see the wound before I decide if I'm willing to share the scar." For a moment, Lucifer looked almost offended. "You don't know what you're asking," he said. Jeffrey's laugh was small and tired. "I never do," he said. It hasn't stopped me yet, you see." Vincent stepped closer to the circle. "Lucifer," he said quietly, "you said you were afraid of being seen and rejected. This is the part where you risk being seen and not." Oh, Lucifer's hands clenched at his sides. He looked at Jeffrey, at the blind eyes, the white-knuckled grip on the battered helmet, the way he stood with his weight slightly off-center, like someone who had learned to compensate for a hidden limp. He closed his own eyes. "Ward Tech," he said. "Yes," Mara replied. "If I do this," Lucifer said, "will your containment hold?" Mara's answer was steady. "If you keep your hands to yourself," she said, "and if you don't try to burn through the circle, yes, I can hold it." Lucifer nodded. "All right," he said. "No more delay." He drew in a breath that seemed to pull the hum of the globe into his lungs, then let it out slowly. When he spoke, his voice carried an old, formal cadence, though Jeffrey had never heard before. "I, Lucifer," he screamed, "former light-bearer, current idiot, hereby revoke my right to hide this particular sin from those it harmed." The air in the vault thickened. "Wards," Mara murmured. "Log declaration." The globe brightened. "Jeffrey Ruan," Lucifer said, and the way he spoke the name wrapped it in ages. "If you want to see my heart, come closer to the line and put your hand on it." Vincent tensed. "Careful," he warned. "I'm not crossing," Lucifer said sharply. "I'm opening." Jeffrey swallowed. "Closer," he checked with Mara. "Half step," she said. "Hands only. If anything pulls, you say stop." Jeffrey shuffled forward until the invisible barrier tingled against his skin, like cold glass. He lifted his right hand. "Here goes nothing," he muttered, and pressed his palm flat against the unseen wall. For a heartbeat, nothing happened. Then the world tilted. He wasn't pulled across. He wasn't dragged into darkness. He was simply flooded with impressions mirroring sensations that were not his, and yet fit around his own pain with terrifying precision. He saw a throne room made of contracts and light that hurt to look at. He felt the weight of responsibility, like chains made of promises. He felt the first rebellion, not as a glorious fall, but as a desperate attempt to stop a machine that had started eating people. He felt fear, shame, an endless parade of choices justified as "for the greater good," until the phrase lost all meaning. And under it all, a very small, very very stubborn voice that sounded disturbingly like his own saying, "You could stop. You could say you were wrong. You could let someone help." He felt the moment that voice was ignored. He felt the moment a hand, not his, touched his chest and offered a trade. He felt his own panic. He felt his own theft. The extraction wasn't gentle, even in memory. He felt the fragment rip free, felt it scream as it left the small heart it belonged to. Felt it lodge in his own like a foreign body, bright and unwelcome. And he felt what he did next. He locked it away. He filed it under deal with later, and buried it under layers of duty and anger, and the kind of self-loathing you only develop when you know exactly how you've betrayed yourself. Jeffrey gasped, staggering. Vincent's hand caught his elbow. "Stop?" Vincent asked. "No," Jeffrey whispered, voice shaking. "Not yet." He pressed his palm harder against the barrier. The vision shifted. He saw a boy, himself, but not Ruan, walking away from that same circle, chest aching, saying, "I think something's missing, but I can't tell what." He saw that boy keep working, keep helping, keep offering light to places that had never earned it. He watched the angle of the boy's shoulders change over time, from open to guarded to tired. He watched himself die young, in more than one world, each time with a sense of having almost remembered something important and failing at the last moment.
Hi.
The ache synced with the echo in the memory. He tore his hand back from the barrier with a ragged gasp. The vault snapped into focus again. Stone, up. Vincent's grip, Mara's charms, Lucifer inside the circle breathing like he'd just run a marathon. "No metaphors," Jeffrey said hoarsely. "Right."
My audiobook.
Mara's voice was gentle. "Do you need out?" she asked. Jeffrey shook his head.
Pictures are from the audiobook.
He said. He took a breath that hurt. "Okay, so that's your heart, or a part of it. And that," he pressed his fist to his chest, "is mine, missing a piece that you stuck in there." Lucifer's laugh was quiet and broken. "Yes," he said, "that's the shape of it." Jeffrey straightened as best he could. "All right," he said, "then here's mine." He lifted his chin, blind eyes turned toward the circle. "I, Jeffrey Ruan," he said, voice trembling but clear, "acknowledge that a piece of my heart is currently lodged in an idiot who used to be very good at pretending he was only a monster." Mara's charms chimed. "I acknowledge that he stole it," Jeffrey went on it. "I acknowledge that I offered something, and he took something else. I acknowledge that I have been walking lopsided ever since." He drew a breath. "And I am willing," he said, to take it back." Silence. "But," Jeffrey added, "I'm not willing to do it if it means leaving a bigger hole in you. I don't forgive what you did. Not yet. Maybe not ever in the way you think. But I'm not here to watch you bleed out so I can feel better." Lucifer stared at him like no one had ever spoken to him like that. "So," Jeffrey finished, "if this fragment moves, it moves through a bridge. It heals me, and it changes you. Or it stays put until we figure out how to do that. Those are my terms." Vincent let out a breath he hadn't realized he was holding. Mara's voice held a note of reluctant admiration. "Clear. she said. Named, no metaphors. Lucifer closed his eyes. I accept, he whispered. The globe's hum shifted, a note bending towards something new. Deep in Jeffrey's chest, the ache changed, not gone, but for the first time moving. Citations, all in one super apotheosis. 2x HTTPS IPLAI file uploads 3. Amazon hours. ComWeb direct files attachments 25735483094 618 2E4AI 80 Youth 69 8115568 8576 all in one. Super apotheosis mixed.
Oh, who's that? Hi.
Dark purple, wedged halfway between you and him. Your side is frayed, his side is scarred. Charming, Jeffrey muttered. Vincent's hand stayed steady on his elbow. Focus on your breathing, Vincent said. In for 4, out for 6. We're building a channel, not yanking a plug. Lucifer spoke from inside the circle, voice low and rough. Ruan, he said, I need you to do something for me. Jeffrey almost laughed. Bold of you, he said, but sure. What? Tell me, Lucifer said quietly. What you want your heart for? Jeffrey frowned. What I want it for? He echoed. You're asking to be whole, Lucifer said. Most people ask for that so they can feel safe, or powerful, or vindicated. You're not most people. I need you to say it out loud. For you. For the not. For me. Jeffrey let the question sit, even as the ache pulsed. He thought of the kids in the library, the poems, the way his chest hurt when he heard anyone else apologize for existing. I want it, he said slowly. So I can love properly? The room went still. Define properly, Mara murmured. Without compensating, Jeffrey said. Without overgiving because I feel broken, or undergiving because I'm tired. I want my own heart back. So when I say I love you to anyone, to a person, to a world, to myself, it comes from a place that isn't missing pieces. Lucifer made a soft, wounded sound. Jeffrey kept going. And I want it, he said, so I can stop treating my pain like a personality trait. I'm tired of building my whole life around a hole I can't name. If I'm going to suffer, I want to suffer honestly. If I'm going to be joyful, I want to actually feel it, instead of watching it from a distance. The knot pulsed. And you? Jeffrey asked, turning his blind gaze toward the circle. What do you want with the hole it's going to leave in you? Lucifer's answer came without hesitation. I want it, he said, so I can stop pretending I don't know what I did. I want to feel the absence and not numb it with doctrine. I want the space where I hid your fragment to hurt, until I learn how to live without stealing from anyone else to fill it. Mara sucked in a breath. That's specific, she said. It's overdue, Lucifer replied. Vincent nodded once. Good, he said. Both of you have your intentions. That's the bridge. Jeffrey's chest throbbed again. How does that help the knot, he asked. Because now, Mara said, we give it a path to follow. He heard her move, felt the air shift as she walked a slow circle around them, her charms ringing in a careful pattern. Lords, witness, she murmured. Student and prisoner have named their terms. The fragment is acknowledged as stolen and a belonging. We propose a route from Lucifer's chest through the circle into Jeffrey's, filtered through shared consent. A faint tingling ran along Jeffrey's skin, like invisible ink being drawn around him. Circle, stand down to observation mode, Mara continued. No interference, no automatic rejection. You don't own this piece. The hum of the containment sphere shifted, a notch less aggressive. Now, Mara said. Vincent's hand slid from Jeffrey's elbow to his upper back, warm and solid. I'm the anchor, Vincent said. I hold both ends long enough for the passage to complete. If anything tries to jump the line, wrath, guilt, stray contracts. I take it, got it? Jeffrey's head snapped toward him. That sounds terrible, Hazel. Vincent's chuckle was soft. Perks of the job, he said. Besides, I'm good at paperwork now. Lucifer's voice came out thinner now. What do I do? He asked. You open, Mara said, just like before. Only this time you don't redirect. You don't skim. You let go. Lucifer drew in another deep breath. I don't know how, he admitted. Yes, you do, Jeffrey said quietly. You did it once. You opened enough for me to see. Do it again. Only this time when the panic hits. Don't shove it into the nearest convenient idiot. Breathe. Lucifer laughed, a harsh, broken thing. Bossy, he said. Motivated, Jeffrey replied. The knot pulsed again, harder. Mara's voice dropped to a murmur, weaving strange syllables with familiar ones, a thread of language that twisted around the hum of the globe. On three, she said. 1, Lucifer opens. 2, Vincent braces. 3, Jeffrey receives. Not takes, receives. Understood? Understood, Vincent said. Understood, Lucifer echoed. Jeffrey's answer was a whispered, okay. 1, Mara said. Lucifer let go. Jeffrey didn't see it, but he felt it. A sudden raw exposure in the air, like someone had torn down a wall he hadn't known was there. The flavor of the room changed, less static, more salt, like tears in the atmosphere. 2, Mara said. Vincent's hand pressed firmly between Jeffrey's shoulder blades. Jeffrey felt another presence lean in. Not Lucifer's, something steadier, sharper, like a line drawn between 2 points. And 3, Mara breathed. The knot moved. It didn't fly. It slid. A slow, grinding shift that felt like tectonic plates, readjusting. Jeffrey cried out despite himself as the ache in his chest flared into heat, then into something else. Cold, then warm. Then a dizzying mix of both, as the fragment detached from where it had been lodged in Lucifer and began to cross the invisible line.
It's the
He
red
felt
one.
it pass through the
You can probably do
barrier.
that on the red one.
There was resistance, like the circle itself didn't want to let go.
Want me to
But
get it?
Mara's murmured words smoothed it, and Vincent's steady pressure held the route. Then, it was in him. Not fully, not yet, but halfway, like a foot through a door. Everything sharpened. The world didn't suddenly come into visual focus. His eyes were still useless, but his sense of the room exploded. He could feel the scuffs on the floor under his boots, the exact distance to the globe. The micro shifts in Vincent's balance, the tiny tremor in Lucifer's breath. He could feel Mara's wards, like lines of warm light drawn around them. Most of all, he could feel himself. There, in the center of his chest, was a shape that had always been missing. It hurt. It burned. It fit. Jeffrey gasped, tears spilling down his face, without permission. "Stop?" Vincent asked immediately. "No," Jeffrey choked. "Please, keep going." Lucifer made a sound like someone swallowing broken glass. "I can feel it," he whispered. "Leaving?" "Good," Mara said, voice firm. "Don't chase it. Let it go." The knot slid the rest of the way. The moment it seated fully, Jeffrey staggered, Etherin and his knees buckled. Vincent caught him before he hit the floor, lowering him carefully. "Breathe," Vincent said. "In, out. That's it." Jeffrey clutched at his own chest, fingers digging into his shirt. It felt like his heart was too big for his rib cage, like it had been starved, and was suddenly being asked to work at full capacity. Mara knelt beside him, cool fingers brushing his wrist. "Energy spiking," she said, "but it's holding." Inside the circle, Lucifer had dropped to one knee. One hand pressed over his sternum. He stared at the floor with something like shock. "It's empty," he said. "Not empty," Mara corrected. "Open. There's a difference." Lucifer let out a jagged breath. "How do you stand this?" he demanded hoarsely. "This feeling? All this?" He gestured vaguely at his own chest. "Space?" Jeffrey managed a wet laugh. "You get used to it," he said, voice rough. "Or you fill it with something better." He pressed his palm flat over his heart again. The ache was still there, but it had changed flavor. Less like a wound, more like a muscle waking up after a long sleep. "For now?" "Status?" Vincent asked Mara. "Fragment is seated," she said. "No leaks. No obvious corruption. His system is adapting." She turned her attention to the circle. "And you?" Lucifer's laugh was softer now. Disbelieving. "I feel," he began, then stopped, searching for words. "Lighter and heavier. Like someone took a weight off my chest and replaced it with wind." "Sounds about right," Jeffrey said. "Welcome to not hoarding stolen goods." Lucifer looked at him. "You should hate me," he said quietly. Jeffrey wiped his face with the back of his hand. "I do," he said. "A little. And I love you. A little. And I don't trust you. A lot. And I just gave myself back a piece of me you were holding, which means whether I like it or not, you're part of the story of my healing." He drew a shuddering breath. "I'll figure out how I feel about that later," he said. "Right now, I'm busy not passing out." Vincent smiled, relief threading through his voice. "That's allowed," he said. "You did well." Jeffrey let his head tip back against Vincent's knee. "I feel weird," he murmured. Mara patted his arm. "Weird is normal," she said. "If you stop feeling weird, then I worry." The hum of the globe settled into a new tone, a half step different from before. Something fundamental in the vault had shifted. Lucifer sat down fully, legs crossed, hands lax at his sides. "For what it's worth," he said, "I'm sorry." Jeffrey didn't answer right away. Finally, he said, "Good." Lucifer blinked. "Good?" he echoed. "Yeah," Jeffrey said, "it's a start. Keep going." He smiled, tired and crooked. "We've got time. Citations: all-in-one super apotheosis. T-text HTTPS. Peel AI file upload. S3 Amazonos. ComWeb direct files attachments to 57354830948 618 EOADC 2E4AEE80 I698 11556 E8576 all in one. Super apotheosis. Text. Next. Hash. Hash episode. Aftershock. They didn't let Jeffrey walk back up the stairs. Vincent carried most of his weight. One arm braced around his ribs. Mara ahead of them, clearing the path of stray ward threads. The pull in Jeffrey's chest had shifted from a sharp magnet to a heavy, unfamiliar fullness. "How long is this going to feel like I swallowed a star?" he asked, voice muffled against Vincent's shoulder. "Anywhere from a few hours to the rest of your life," Mara said. "But it should stop feeling like an emergency soon." "Reassuring," Jeffrey muttered. By the time they reached the main floor, his legs worked again. Shaky but functional. Vincent only let go when Jeffrey insisted. "I can walk," Jeffrey said. "If I fall over, we'll call it a character-building experience." Vincent snorted. "Stubborn," he said. Also reassuring. They steered him into a small side room off the corridor. A quiet nurse's office meets meditation chamber, with a couch, a low table, and a bowl of glass marbles that hummed softly. "Sit," Mara ordered. "Sip." She pressed a cup into his hand. The liquid inside smelled herbal and faintly metallic. "What's this?" Jeffrey asked. "Grounding tea," she said, "and a little blood sugar. Your system just rewired. It's going to be hungry." He took a cautious sip. Warmth spread down his throat, settling in his stomach like a gentle anchor. "So," he said, "how did I do?" "Considering you just reclaimed stolen soul infrastructure from one of the most infamous entities in several pantheons," Mara said. "Not bad." Vincent settled into the chair opposite, watching him closely. "Any echoes?" Vincent asked. "Voices, flashes, intrusive guilt that obviously isn't yours?" Jeffrey thought about it. "Plenty of guilt," he said, "but I'm pretty sure it's mine. I'm very talented." No sudden urge to rewrite school policy with fire. Vincent pressed. Jeffrey smiled weakly. "Tempting," he said, "but no, just more awareness. It's like someone took the background music in my head and turned it up. I can feel more." "More what?" Mara asked. He searched for language. "More everything," he said. "You, the room, the school, him still humming under the floor, and me, especially me. It's like I've been reading my own story in third person for years, and suddenly someone hit first person." Mara made a thoughtful noise. "That's a good sign," she said. "We didn't just plug a random power-up into you. We reconnected something that was always supposed to be there. Jeffrey set the empty cup down.
What are you doing?
And him? He asked. Is he going to be okay down there with a new hole? Vincent's expression shifted, something complicated moving behind his eyes. He'll survive, Vincent said. He's survived worse. But whether he's okay is up to him now. For the first time in a long time, he can't hide from what he did behind your missing piece. Jeffrey leaned back, fingers spread over his chest. I can still feel him, he admitted. Faint. Like a radio station 2 rooms over. Is that permanent? Mara nodded once. Connection doesn't vanish just because we moved one fragment, she said. You shared a ritual. You saw his heart. He saw yours. That leaves a line. We'll teach you how to adjust the volume. Jeffrey blew out a breath. Great, he said. Boundaries, my favorite advanced course. Vincent's mouth twitched. Consider this your unofficial enrollment, he said. Lesson 1. You are not responsible for fixing him. The words landed harder than Jeffrey expected. I know, he said automatically. Vincent raised a brow. Do you? He asked. Jeffrey hesitated. I know, he repeated, slower. Intellectually, emotionally, I'm working on it. Mara stood. I'm writing you off classes tomorrow, she said. Doctor's orders. You can wander, sleep, sit in the sun, write poetry, whatever helps you integrate. But no heavy magic, no heroics, and definitely no solo trips to the basement.
She's almost done.
Jeffrey smiled faintly.
Hey, let's
Bossy, he said. Motivated, she shot back, echoing his earlier words. After she left, the room settled. For a while, neither of them spoke. The school's night sounds filtered in. Distant footsteps, a door closing. The low murmur of wards, adjusting to new parameters. Can I ask you something? Jeffrey said at last. Always, Vincent replied. Why do you care so much? Jeffrey asked. About this, about me. You could have just filed me under weird case, and it kept your distance. Vincent was quiet a long moment. Because I've watched this place eat people, he said finally. Students, staff, yes. Not always literally. Sometimes in little ways, compromises, bargains, bits of themselves they give away to keep the peace. I made a decision a long time ago that if someone like you ever walked in, someone the system would be tempted to carve up for parts, I'd step in. He looked at Jeffrey, eyes steady. And because you were kind to a homesick kid in the library on your first day, he added, you treated their fear like it mattered. That's rare. That's, worth protecting. Jeffrey felt heat build behind his eyes again. That's just basic decency, he said. You'd be surprised how many people misplace it, Vincent said. Jeffrey huffed out a breath that was almost a laugh. I don't feel like a hero, he admitted. I feel like a guy who just got hit by an emotional truck. Good, Vincent said. Heroes are terrible role models. Survivors are better. Jeffrey let the words settle. Do I tell the others? He asked. About him? About the heart thing? Eventually, Vincent said. In your own way, on your own time. Right now, you don't owe anyone a briefing. Jeffrey nodded. Okay, he said. One last question. Vincent smiled faintly. You say that now? What happens to the games? Jeffrey asked. To the story, to this whole Apotheosis school thing. Now that I'm different. Vincent leaned back. Nothing, he said. And everything? The school keeps running. Classes, rituals, bad cafeteria food. But from now on, the system can't honestly claim it knows what to do with you. You're not just a student or a variable. You're a glitch it didn't plan for. He paused. And glitches, he said, are how new stories get written. Jeffrey let that sink in. Okay, he said again, softer this time. He closed his eyes and listened. To the school, to the echo of Lucifer under the floors, to the steady beat of his own heart, now fully his. For the first time in a very long time, the rhythm felt like it belonged to him. He smiled just a little. Hi, he whispered to himself, to the reclaimed peace, to whoever was listening. Welcome home. Citations. All-in-one super apotheosis. TXT HTTPS WTLAVI file upload. S3 Amazon OS. ComWeb Direct Files attachments 25735483094 618 2E4E80 698115568,576 all-in-one super apotheosis. TXT. We didn't just plug a random power-up into you. We reconnected something that was always supposed to be there. Jeffrey set the empty cup down. And him? He asked. Is he going to be okay down there with a new hole? Vincent's expression shifted. Something complicated moving behind his eyes. He'll survive, Vincent said. He survived worse. But whether he's okay is up to him now. For the first time in a long time, he can't hide from what he did behind your missing piece. Jeffrey leaned back, fingers spread over his...
So I'm trying to slowly